Fëanor, the greatest of the Noldor, is often remembered for fire, for brilliance, and for doom. But what happens when we examine his story through the philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche? Suddenly, Fëanor becomes more than a tragic elf. He becomes a symbol of the Übermensch's rise and fall, a being driven by will, creation, and the burden of his own greatness. Nietzsche taught that creation is the highest expression of the will to power. Fëanor embodies this perfectly. The Silmarils were not mere jewels, they were manifestations of his inner fire, his ultimate act of self-overcoming. Like Nietzsche's ideal creator, Fëanor shapes reality with his will. He rejects stagnation, refuses limits, and dares to achieve what even the Valar believed impossible. Nietzsche celebrated the individual who stands against imposed authority. Fëanor's defiance of the Valar echoes this spirit. To him, the Valar represented order, restraint, and the weight of tradition, forces Nietzsche warns can suppress the flourishing of extraordinary individuals. Fëanor's cry, "No longer are we the thralls of the Valar," reflects the existential moment when one rejects external meaning to create their own. But Nietzsche also warned of the dangers of the will turned inward, when passion transforms into obsession. Fëanor's fall begins when the Silmarils cease to be creations and become possessions. His will to power becomes will to domination. His freedom becomes pride. His courage becomes wrath. And his oath, an unbreakable chain, reveals what happens when a creator becomes enslaved by the very thing he made. He reaches toward transcendence but is undone by resentment, rage, and the inability to release what he created. In Nietzschean terms, Fëanor achieves greatness but not mastery of himself. He burns too brightly, too fiercely, and collapses under the weight of his own fire. Through Nietzsche's philosophy, Fëanor becomes a portrait of creative genius pushed to the edge, a being who touched the divine through art, defied the commands of gods, and yet fell because he could not conquer himself. Fëanor is the eternal reminder that the greatest light can also cast the darkest shadow.